Hey, welcome back to the Invincible podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
And Darryl, this is episode 504, our Certified Infamous TV Shows of 2025, as promised from last week when we did the Certified Movies of 2025.
Yeah, so before we get this started, I do want to make an amendment to my list from last week. Haven't done this before,
Whoa.
and I was actually surprised, is that adding to my, I'm not going to put it on my top 10 necessarily, but it's close, but it's in my honorable mention, and that's The Long Walk.
Oh,
I ended up watching that the other day. Again, I've read the book. There's a lot of differences in the book. I was surprised when I saw that movie was being made just because of how what it is. It's literally a walk. But I really, really like the movie. And some of the things they changed, I will say, actually worked better for me in the movie than the books. Obviously, you can do different things, but I like the version of how they changed a few characters here and there in the movie. It just worked better. I wasn't crazy about the ending, especially based on the changes they made to one of the characters.
Did they change the ending of the movie, of the story?
Yes, in a way that one part they changed was actually good because it kind of threw me off and surprised me. Another aspect, it was like, I could take it or leave it. Yeah. But overall, I really like this movie.
Cool.
I liked it a lot. I would actually have it as 7 point. I think I said 7.65 out of 10.
So you would say a story about somebody walking across the country that you locked you to law?
Yeah, 7.6 out of 10. I'm sorry.
Wow, Gen A. That is a high score.
So,
was it like a box of chocolates? Did you not know what you were going to get the entire time?
Speaking of chocolate, if you're walking for 5 days straight, literally you can't take a break. Bodily functions happen.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
So lots of pooping.
And they showed some of that. So
I'm never watching that movie now. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I do appreciate you. Not really, but I'm going to let you continue.
That was a scene I had to turn away from for a second because I didn't need to see that. So that's all I'll say about that.
Okay. Cool. All right. So before we get into like the certified infamous TV shows of the year, I do want to point out that like we had some pretty freaking certified infamous TV this weekend with the NFL playoffs.
Man, other than the Monday night game, like every game was like coming down to the wire, back and forth, lead changes. Just, I mean, some serious hitting. I'm sure
I'm going to disagree for a second about the Monday night game. I think it went exactly the way it should have gone, and it was very exciting to watch the Steelers get the belt-to-ass treatment from the Texans defense.
Yeah, like, I mean, that is great, but that's not an exciting game. It might be fun, especially if you're not a Steelers fan, but it wasn't exciting.
Yep.
It was actually, it started off with like the first half was pretty damn boring because CJ Stroud couldn't hold on to the ball.
Yeah, I know. I went to bed at like 9 o'clock last night. Like,
I went to bed like right at the start of the fourth quarter, and it was 17-6. Yeah. Like right after big man Sheldon Rankins, who was a Bengal last year, by the way, and didn't play much because of issues and whatever, returned a fumble for a touchdown. And I was like, all right, I'm going to bed now.
Now he's on arguably the best defense in the league at the moment.
Man, I don't know, man. There's a lot of really good defense.
I said arguably.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, like, there's just a lot of good defenses. And then one of the best ones didn't even play in Denver. They got the bye.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there was some serious hitting. I'm sure some guys got fined, even though they didn't get penalized.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't know. They haven't been fining guys after the fact as much. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and jump right in this week, a little faster than last week. Okay, so just like last week, we've got our top 10, our honorable mentions, and then our new category, first eliminated. And just like last time, we're going to start in the reverse order of that. We're going to start with our first eliminated, then we're going to go into our honorable mentions, and then we'll do our top 10. Right? Is that how we did it?
Good.
Yeah. Okay. So, real quick, we do have some crossover, but not a lot. And most of our crossover comes from, like, just one of it, like, on, like, honorable mention versus, first eliminated or whatever. So anyway, so why don't you go ahead and kick it off?
Wow, I don't even have Reacher on my list.
But that's why you write it down.
I know, it's funny because I didn't write that one down, I guess. Or maybe I just didn't care about it as much. But okay. So I did not have, unlike movies, there were several of the movies that were just horrible. Mm-hmm. The first out for me on these shows, none of them were awful. I didn't think any of them were really awful. Well, so I'll start with the first one. Because I was trying to think, like, okay, what ones? Because I didn't have any like Novocaine or anything like that, which was in the 2s or 3s.
I mean, so I had some like 2 DNFs, right? Like last time,
which Severence is a show in general where it's just there are some.
Well, like, Severance was it Pluribus? Is that how you say it? Pluribus? Pluribus. Thank you. I watched. I'm gonna say I was in the room for the first episode, but I probably only caught about 12% of the episode. So I don't feel like it's enough to give it a fair shake to DNF it and give it a 1. But yeah.
So Severance season 2 for me, and again, I'm not coming back. Season 3.
Just go through. Go through.
It's not bad.
Yeah, for these, just go through all 4 of yours, and then I'll go through all 4 of mine.
Okay. Alien Earth, Love, Death, and Robots season 4, and then Mythic Quest season 4. Mm-hmm.
Well, so I mean, talk about them. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I was trying to do before.
Yeah, my bad. Well, I was just gonna say we're not gonna bounce back and forth.
Yeah, Alien Earth again. Again, it's not bad. It's just there was just, especially the last couple episodes just tanked it for me because I had it as a 6 something before that. Love, Death, and Robots. Again, that's an anthology series, so it's similar to Black Mirror, which I didn't have on here either, in the sense of nothing is necessarily related, but there was just a lack of, similar to Black Mirror, it seems like the creativity that really jump-started this series early on has just kind of like flaked away.
Yeah.
And lastly, Mythic Quest season 4, again, it wasn't bad. It was missing the magic for me that the first 2 seasons that made me want to keep watching.
Yeah.
Like that. I wanted to keep checking in with these characters in the first couple seasons and then season. So from that standpoint, being these first out, like it's not like the movies where I'm like, oh, okay, this was horrible, this was bad. It was just there were more. I had more issues than I had praise for these, but they weren't necessarily bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine were all bad. So good.
The only one I saw is Mythic Quest. Okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So my first eliminated are Wednesday. It's very Netflix heavy. Wednesday, The Hunting Wives, which I don't think you watched. Bad Thoughts, and then Mythic Quest. So Wednesday, just to me, this season did not connect at all like the first season did. It was it just everything felt forced, and whatever Jenna Elfman was Jenna Ortega, thank you. Jenna Elfman was from that the one show, or well, she was in Can't Hardly Wait. Anyway, Jenna Ortega, whatever she's doing, like with her look, like really aged her as Wednesday. Like she looked like an adult trying to play a child. So there was that, but then like the rest of the characters just didn't have the same kind of like heart to them as they did in the first one, where they were all feeling it out. And I guess they were missing a character because some character got accused of something that he didn't do, but they were like, too bad, you're gone anyway. So, good times there. And then the Hunting Wives, if Cinemax was still around, the Hunting Wives would have been a perfect Cinemax show. I mean, it was essentially, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. It was Malin Ackerman and Brittany Snow, and it was basically softcore porn. But it was like the soapiest soap opera ever about who killed some teenage girl because one of the moms was sleeping with the girl's boyfriend and got jealous, that kind of thing. Yet we still watched the whole season. I mean, it was only 6 episodes, but then my next one for Netflix was Bad Thoughts. That was that Tom Segura anthology show where the clip of that show going around that was actually funny. The funny part of that show was when his kid is doing the play and he's reenacting his grandpa's time in Vietnam.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's from Bad Thoughts. And then there was like a funny interaction, like one where he goes to get coffee and he's like, I'd like a little less milk, and the guy just pours the cup out on the counter, which was not funny, but it was, it made a whole bunch of rounds. But the show just, to me, was just objectively like just a swing and a miss. And then lastly, Mythic Quest. And unlike you, I'm not giving Mythic Quest a pass. This season was all around not good. It was all over the place. They played up that whole will they, won't they thing with Poppy and Ian, and it was just stupid. And then they went back and changed the ending because some fans got upset about the way it ended.
So speaking of that, did you because you saw both of them, I did not see both of the endings, like or the original.
I prefer the original ending to the second ending. The original ending was on brand for every character. But yeah, the second one, like, just them ending up, it was just not, it wasn't, I don't know. I hate when they do that stuff. Like, stick by your, stick by what it is. Now, I will say, like, it is kind of impressive that they were able to go in a week, be like, oh, hey, we're just going to take these two characters and we're going to erase the last 5 minutes of the episode and just reshoot it all in, what used to be the set. So
they did their own version of the snap.
Kinda, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, for me, those were like ones that was like, I mean, probably won't watch. I mean, I won't. I don't think I'll go back to Mythic Quest at all ever again.
Yeah, I probably won't.
I'm definitely done with Wednesday. And as far as the Hunting Wives, I mean, if that's something Jen's watching and I'm sitting there with her, I'll watch it. But it's not like I'm going to seek it out when it comes back. All right, let's go to because it obviously got picked up. All right, honorable mentions. So I'll go first here. So I had Dexter Original Sin, Running Point, Chad Powers, Invincible, and Bondsman. Dexter Original Sin, it's a crime that this isn't getting a second season. I understand why it's not, but they shouldn't have like greenlit it for a second season and then canceled it. I really hate when studios do that. But the kid they cast as Dexter was perfect, just spot on perfect. But yeah, it's a one season show. There was more story to tell, so I didn't feel like it could go in my top 10. Running Point was probably the biggest surprise show for me. It's the one with Kate Hudson where her dad is the running a version of the Lakers and dies, and her and Justin Theroux and I forget the other brother It might be Ike Barinholtz. Anyway, they are. It's not Ike Barinholtz now that I think about it. But anyway, they're like she gets left the team to be the president of the team, and it's like the LA team. So like I said, they're kind of the Lakers, and she's just trying to find her way because she was just like this party girl and all that. But like the basketball was good. When they showed the basketball, the characters were interesting. It was really fun. I'm really excited that it's coming back soon. And it's one of those just great little like half-hour comedies. I think it was like 8 episodes. Well worth watching. But like again, it's not the same quality of the things that were at the top. Chad Powers, we reviewed Chad Powers. I love Chad Powers, but again, Chad Powers is not the quality of a show at the top. But it was really, really good. They're shooting a second season. I don't remember if they said it was picked up or not, but again, we'll see how that goes. The most recent season of Invincible, which I think was that 4? Was this 4?
3.
Yeah, so season 3. I will say this was probably top to bottom the best one yet, except for the fact that the animation keeps getting worse.
Yeah.
So that was why for me, like just the animation quality just wasn't there. And then lastly, again, just because it was one season, the Bondsman. I had the Bondsman in my top 10. I was like, you know what? I just can't because I want more from it. And it just doesn't get a top 10 ranking. If that's the case. And, it's a good show. You should watch it. Kevin Bacon is awesome in it. If you liked Brimstone or Reaper, it definitely scratches that itch.
It absolutely does. And funny enough, I'll lead off with my honorable mention of The Bondsman.
What?
Again, so I'll just go. The Bondsman was a show wasn't expecting, but right up my alley, that supernatural aspect of it. And like you said, it really reminded me of Brimstone, a criminally underrated show that I would love for them to just give me a real version of season 1 or the only season of it.
Yeah.
MurderBot, another show that I'd never heard of the books,
right.
And once we started watching it, I actually started reading the books, listening to the audiobooks. Very fun series. MobLand, I mean, it's Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren. I mean, that cast is pretty stacked. Really, really strong show about obviously ties to the mob, and again, this takes place in London, so a lot of accents and really good stuff. Stranger Things season 5, I thought this would have been like the way part 1 ended, because this show was split off into part 1, 2, and then the finale, 3 different days. The way part 1 was, the first 4 episodes, I thought this was sure and away going to be in my top 10. And then the second half of the season happened, and they lost a lot of goodwill with me.
Yeah.
Goodwill. It's just poor execution and very soapy writing.
Yeah.
Again, I think it ended. The last 30 minutes of the finale were, to me, very good, and reminded me why I loved the show in the first place. But the stuff that came before it, episode 7, which is the worst rated Stranger Things episode, this is the worst rated finale because the first hour was very messy. But it still was good enough, especially the first 4 episodes followed by the last 30-40 minutes of the finale, to make its way on my top, my honorable mention. And then you have Reacher season 3. While you were talking, I had to look up on our podcast and about some of what happened there, and it's like, oh yeah, this was the one with Paulie and everything. So again, I did have issues with some of the stuff, but overall it's very fun. Just again, that the fight with Paulie, the relationship he formed with the son, really good season. Reacher just keeps delivering, so I hope it does season 4 the same way.
So awesome. All right, let's go into our our best of. And so I'll just start just like you did with the honorable mentions. Reacher is in my top 10. I actually really enjoyed this season. I liked all the cracks in Reacher's armor that we got to see, both like physically and emotionally, and even a little bit physically. I thought that it was a different tone of pace from what we'd been getting, where he had all these like teammates and things like that. We got the episode that was kind of the backdoor pilot for Neely, for that character show that comes out this year. And yeah, I just thought I thought they did a really good job, and like you said, they always deliver when it comes to this show.
I'm glad you reminded me about the Neely show. I completely spaced on that.
Hey, yeah, man.
That they were doing one.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know. I'm excited.
That's something to look forward to in 26.
Yeah, I mean, and Neely's such a good character too. Like, I don't know if Neely's in the books or not, because I've never read any Lee Child books.
Oh no, she's in the books.
Okay.
I just don't know how. I think Neely is actually the one that's in it the most. I think. Again, I haven't read them, but just from the stuff I looked up, I thought that's what I'd read. But
yeah,
I'm really interested in her backstory and and what goes and what we get in the show. But yeah,
I'd be really interested to see Serinda Swan come back a lot more.
Yes.
So
Zatanna,
yeah. All right, your turn.
I'll go with what I call one of the best examples of what it means to be a hero, and that was the season 8, which is the final season of My Hero Academia. I've read all the hero comic books. I would say the only one, I mean, again, good Superman writing, yes, but also Invincible, which is also on my top 10 list. But as far as from start to finish, a character staying true to himself, no one's done a better job than what they did with Izuku Midoriya. As far as a kid who, in a world with powers, 80% of the population, he is born without powers, and watching his journey of how he gets them and where he goes and what he's willing to sacrifice, and not just him and the heroes around him. You're not going to see many hero series where heroes are losing limbs in the way that this show did. But ultimately it ends the way it begins, with him reaching out to people who others would call not deserving of it, and how that affects the final battle. I mean, I just love this. This is a show I will watch over and over and over again. I have like the last 25, I think, volumes of the manga.
Oh, wow.
Great show. I mean, great animation. And again, like you were talking about Invincible's animation, this animation was one that did not disappoint me, especially because there's so many crazy battles that, again, you've read comics in the sense of, like with Invincible, for example, like in the sense that, as it doesn't matter how good it is on the page, if you're doing it right from a movement standpoint, whether it's live action or animation, it just nothing compares. And My Hero Academia did that.
Cool. Very cool. All right. So my next one was another one on your honorable mention, which was MurderBot. I really, really liked this show because I knew nothing about it. I didn't even know that it was a book until at the end of till watching the opening credits, where it's based on the MurderBot mysteries. I too have since gone and read some of the books, and I really liked them. I thought they were good. I'm excited for season 2 of MurderBot. I think Apple did an amazing job making this show look as campy and as good as it did, because like this isn't like Silo or Foundation or Arrival or anything like that. It's not Arrival. Is it Arrival? Is that the other Apple one? Anyway, but it's not. It's definitely not like the Godzilla show and the that kind of stuff. It's not this serious hardcore sci-fi. It doesn't need to have these massive, beautiful effects. It can be kind of cheesy, almost throwbacky, if you will. Retro is the word I'm looking for. and I thought they did a great job at that. And Alexander Skarsgård shined as the mix of murder, sarcasm, and aloofness that was MurderBot.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, what do you got next?
The most recent show that just finished last week was It Welcome to Derry. And I was always curious because I do like the It movies, whether you were talking about the original or the 2017, 2019 remake, part 1 and part 2. And this follows along with the remake.
Okay.
So because they did change the time frame versus the miniseries from the 90s.
I mean, the remake, I mean, I only saw part 1. So it's not that I didn't want to watch part 2, but I thought I read somewhere that, like, you know.
No what?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I was gonna say, I thought I read somewhere about like the way that they pushed it like back and everything to set the story, because they, like, I guess, drop some Easter eggs throughout the movies for the TV show.
Oh, that's interesting. Then that show was in development for a while.
So yeah, I mean, I think it was, because I think whoever the directors were had like a whole plan, unlike Star Wars.
Yeah. So I'll say this: it starts off crazy. See, the first episode starts off. The first 10 minutes are like, what in the world? Then you have the character introductions, and then you think you know who the main characters are. No, you don't.
You'd be wrong.
But all the way through, though, I mean, this is a fantastic series. I mean, just excellent acting, and then there were little nuggets of other Stephen King characters, from his other books, particularly Dick Halloran from The Shining.
Oh, cool.
It ends in a melodramatic way, but it was one of those things that was the final battle, which is not really the final battle. It was what I wanted from Stranger Things, which was funny. Like, because I'm watching, the end of this, and these kids going against, Pennywise, and it was better than what they did in the part 1 of the movie. And it was definitely better than what they did in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of heart in this show. The child actors were great, especially the kid that played Richie, which this kid is hilarious. He reminds me of a more sane, like, just with his energy, especially if you're watching the interviews, a more sane, less CTE Scattaboo.
Oh, interesting.
In a way.
Interesting.
But I mean, he's just so energetic and everything. But this show is like really, really good. Cool. And I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Yeah, I really liked It Part 1, and like, I forget why I didn't see It Part 2 in the theaters. I think it was just like a timing thing, and then I kind of forgot about it. So, and like, I don't think I watched anything on HBO this year, like, other than like reruns and movies and stuff like that. I don't think I watched a single
was
HBO
it the
show.
White Lotus?
Oh, I guess I did watch The White Lotus. I completely forgot about it, though. And I wasn't a huge fan of the season, but even though it had Walton Goggins. All right. So my next one was another one of your honorable mentions, Alien Earth. I really dug Alien Earth, to the point where I was a little disappointed that Predator Badlands didn't incorporate more of Alien Earth. But I also am excited for a second season of Alien Earth with how it ended, and the premium humans versus the synth versus the cyborgs versus the xenomorphs, maybe versus an Uchini. What are they called? The Predators?
Yautja.
Well,
right. That clan is a Yautja.
Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe maybe Uchini is a clan of Predators, and that's what it could be. So, and I'm just like ahead of the curve by making that word up. Well, I know I'm not making that word. Anyway.
Well, when you said that, the only thing I thought about when you said that,
Wootini. So anyway, but no, I really liked it. Plus, I'm totally biased because I have a boy in it. And maybe
Yeah.
Timothy Oliphant's wife will stop sending out
Josh
Christmas
Duhamel.
cards with Josh Duhamel. But no, I really really liked it, and the girl that played Alice was fantastic. Like she carried the show so well as like a young actress, like not like a kid, but like as a young adult actress. Yeah, younger. She's a young adult. She's like 23, 24. She just did a great job. Loved it. I loved her portrayal. I want to see more of not Alice, Wendy. I want to see more of Wendy and the Lost Boys for sure. And them making it illegal to have premium humans on Earth. So, all right, what do you got next?
A show I didn't know anything about, and this was weird. So House of David. And I say it's weird because 2025, you had 2 seasons of the show.
Oh.
And so what I did, I just put them together. I was shocked when I heard season 2 was coming out in November. What? I just finished watching season 1.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sword and Sandals. Huge fan of biblical tales. And this is another example of Amazon doing a damn good job with the show. Okay. Now, the second season was on what they call the Wonder Project, which it's almost like Angel Studios, I guess.
Yeah.
But season 1 was straight up on Amazon.
Okay.
And it's funny, Stephen Lang is in it. He's not playing a blue-tinted alien, but he's actually playing Solomon, or not Solomon, but Samuel, the prophet Samuel.
So just like his character Ike in Tombstone.
That's a throwback. But again, the acting, and there's a lot of characters, like the actor who plays Saul, King Saul. I don't recall his name, but if you see his face, you're like, oh, I've seen this guy in things. The guy that plays David, who he also has a great voice. I've never seen him before. So, the woman the actress that played Superman's mother in Man of Steel, she played Saul's wife. But so it's very well done. Again, this is going to be several seasons. I think it's 3 seasons.
Cool.
Or 4, but it tells the story of how David came to how he's prophesized to become king and be anointed, and the intricacies of the house of Saul, trying to once they find, or they actually don't know at first, and then find it when they find out what happens there, and that's where we kind of end up. So there's still a lot of tales to be told. We haven't been introduced to Bathsheba yet, but really good show. I mean, I was wondering, I was like, okay, so how is this going to look when he faces Goliath, and how they do the giants, and really good job. I mean, this is, again, at Prime with Reacher, did a great job with Reacher.
Yeah.
They had a human giant and the guy that played Paulie in it.
Right.
And then, but this show is really, really good. I'm really looking forward to season 3, which who knows when that happens. But yeah, a weird thing having 2 seasons, like not season 1A and 1B, but this is season 1 and season 2. So I highly recommend this show. Well, I pretty much recommend all the shows that are on my top 10.
Yeah.
This is one of the, this is right up there with any of them.
Cool. Okay, so my next one is, it kind of flies in the face of like my honorable mentions, but I think there might actually be a second season. It's Untamed. It was the Netflix show with Eric Bana, where he's the the park ranger for a national park out in Montana, and he's lived there forever and like kind of lived off the land, and has his family there, his ex, and he had a son that died, and there's a mystery that is like a missing persons cold case type thing. And it's just like, I don't know, there's this new female detective that starts, and she's kind of the go-getter and trying to get things done. The sheriff is not interested in doing any of that. And then Eric Bana's character is, he's out there riding his horse in the woods and like knowing every square centimeter of the national park, and when he can tell when something's wrong. And like, it was just, I don't know, it was a fantastic show. It was beautifully shot because it's all outdoors. They did a great job like making it sunny and bright for a lot of the show. And then, the times where they were like in caves and stuff, it was just so well produced and acted and written that like there was never a time during the show, and it's between 4 and 6 episodes, that I was like, man, like this is like, I'm going to be glad when this is over. Like I caught myself like dragging my feet. Like there's another show that it was the same way. I was dragging my feet to finish it because I didn't want to finish the show. And I think like we've all read books that are like that too. And this was just one of those. And like I said, Eric Bana is a really good actor, especially in things like this. And it was really good to see. Kudos Netflix for putting out something so interesting, not based off of anything.
I'm going to have to go back and finish that because I watched the first 2 or 3 episodes and I liked it. I just never got caught up in other stuff.
Yeah, I want to say it was 6 episodes, but I think for some reason I'm thinking it's 4, and I'm too lazy to look it up right now.
I think it's. I thought it was 6, but okay. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
What was 6 episodes though is Netflix as well. Last Samurai Standing. Again, I love me some samurai and Asian, and this one is, again, I think this is based off of a book and manga, or just one of the two, where it's Last Samurai Standing. You ever play Call of Duty? There's a game mode called Kill Confirmed. So when you kill an opponent, their tag drops and you have to collect the tag. That's pretty much what Last Samurai Standing is. This is during the time period where Japan is trying to phase out the samurai, so they don't get stipends from the state. They don't, they can't carry their swords, which again, to a samurai, they had to change. Samurai had a certain haircut. They couldn't do that. So our main character is, he's doing it. His family is sick, and I say family, I mean family, like daughter and wife. And one of his kids ends up dying, and so he gets into this for the money. And there's several hundred. It starts off with like 300 samurai, and you watch as these samurai, and there's different stories, different storylines. Now we're following him most, and then he comes across this this girl who's doing the same thing, because I think there's cholera outbreak in Japan at the time.
Yeah.
Who's doing it for? So he takes her under his wing, and I mean, it's great. I mean, it's the action is top tier.
Cool.
Top tier action. It's only 6 episodes. I'm one of those that I watch movies like this, foreign movies. I watch it with subtitles because I cannot do the dub. It just takes away from it for me. But it's supposed to be, I think the creator, season 2 did get greenlit. So cool. I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully it'll be out this year, if not early 2027. But I mean, only 6 episodes. It's a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, the sword play is so much fun to watch. Again, Last Samurai Standing.
Cool. All right, my next one is a Disney Plus show, and I had to go back and verify it was this year. Yeah, no, Andor, sure.
Andor?
Daredevil. I had to go back and verify it was this year, because for some reason I was thinking it was that it was 2025. Because for some reason I was thinking it was older. Yes, the show had problems. Yes, Elsie's bar like magically grew 5,000 rooms and became a huge MacGuffin for the show. But Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin is great. Vanessa, like, finally Breaking Bad was great. And Matt fighting with himself over how best to honor Foggy, and what he wanted from Matt versus Matt's desire for revenge, I think was so good.
Yeah, honestly, I that's something I do want to go back and rewatch because like
now, I mean, it had its issues. It was too clean.
close to being on my honorable mention list.
Oh, okay, yeah,
I just missed out.
Yeah, but no, it was too clean as far as all of that went with like New York. It just wasn't as gritty as what the Netflix ones were.
Oh, you're 100%. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, but yeah, Daredevil, definitely go watch it.
So going back to Amazon Prime is Terminal List, Dark Wolf, which is the prequel series starring Taylor Kitsch's character. We talked about Terminal List when it came out a couple years ago. I mean, another home run by Amazon, and Wolf is pretty much the same thing. It was one of those things where Taylor Kitsch's character was in Terminal List. The question was, how did he get to that point where he would betray a friend?
Right.
And still didn't get that answer necessarily.
No, but we will.
But we did get. Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is we did, like, I'm talking about just season one.
Right.
We didn't get that answer, but we're starting to see how something like that could happen with some of the choices he made in Dark Wolf.
Right.
So another fantastic show that I pretty much recommend to people anytime people are looking for something to watch. I say, oh, have you watched this? Really good. Excellent show. With a couple surprises here and there too.
Yeah. I'm gonna piggyback because I have it on mine too. Yeah, it was a really good show, and like seeing Tom Hopper show up was like a welcome surprise. I didn't recognize him at first because he had a beard, but he wasn't also covered in hair, like on the Umbrella Academy. Anyway, but I really did like this, and this was the other show that I dragged my feet on watching because like we were taking a little bit of time off here and there for this, and like reviewing some other stuff, and like we'll double up on this. So like I was like, I just didn't want it to end. And then that last episode, oh man, when he's fighting in the woods, and Reese finally comes in and saves him and everything, but like that was like, it's like, okay, we know he lives. We know, we absolutely know that Taylor Kitsch is covered in plot armor, but you're like, wait a second, are they gonna fucking kill him? So it was, I mean, they did a really good job with it. Chris Pratt was the one of the executive producers, and I know he's gotten closer with Jack Carr. So there was a lot of love that went into this, and I think you're the one who told me that they did make changes to the story to satisfy multiple seasons. So it's great.
Right.
I love it. I think it's awesome. I'm going to say arguably, because I didn't put Landman on because like it's going to be done this year for season 2. And so it's going to be on my season 2, and it was already on my 25 for what was in 25 because they did the same way. But Dark Wolf is arguably, like, outside of Landman, my favorite show of the year.
Oh, high praise.
I thought it was fantastic.
That's in that conversation. Again, I agree. Fantastic.
And again, I say arguably, so because I can argue with myself about why it's not too. So anyway,
if I'm fair,
yeah,
if I'm being fair, only one of my shows on my top 10 I couldn't argue would be at my top 10, even though it had a high score. But next on my list
Yeah.
is we're going back to the world of anime with Solo Leveling Season 2, which Solo Leveling, a quick rundown, is kind of similar to My Hero Academia, where people become hunters because, you know, all of a sudden 10 years ago, these gates formed. And if anybody's ever played RPGs, role-playing games, like, you know, whatever, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, you know, Fallout, like any of those Elder Scrolls, that's basically what this game is. It's called, there's a word for it. It's like lit RPG, and it's a popular, you know, kind of like segmentation of the fantasy writing of fantasy books over the last few years.
Yeah.
The first time I ever came to introduced to it was like Sword Art Online, like 15 years ago.
Oh, cool.
Same thing. So the main character, Jinwoo Sun, is basically they call him the worst hunter in the world, and this was from season 1. And he ends up becoming reawakened, and that way he can, because most hunters, once you get a grade, once you get your powers, you're just that. If you're an A level, you're an A level, you stay that way. If you're an S tier, S tier. If you're E level like him, he's going to always be E level, except now he can do a lot of things. And again, this is another example of the animation just bringing stuff to life that, like and again, this is Korean, so it's not Japanese, so it's called a manhwa, this is in color. So you know, I have all of the books and you know, they're in color, but still, like, the animation is top tier, and for a show like this, you had to get top tier animation. And it's all about just the fight and it, because again, I'm already way past this in the book, so just seeing this stuff that I read, you know, get brought to life. I mean, this show is spectacular. Again, not for everyone because, you know, one, it's anime, and two, it's like that another subsect in that whole, like I said, the lit RPG. But
Yeah,
I love this show. I love the original books, and season 2 was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
very cool. Speaking of, remind me when we're done recording and before we hang up to ask you about Brandon Sanderson, because just what you were talking about made me think of something that I need to ask.
Okay.
All right. My next one is a Paramount Plus show, Tulsa King, Sylvester Stallone, Garrett Hedlund. Neil McDonough was on this season. So you always love when Neil McDonough shows up. It's the story of a gangster, Dwight Manfredi, played by Sylvester Stallone, who gets exiled to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then starts his own mafia there. It's Robert Patrick was the bad guy in this season. It was really, really good. There were lots of really cool stakes. It's another one. It's a Taylor Sheridan show. But Sylvester Stallone is really...
What is it nowadays?
Well, what isn't? You're right. But Sylvester Stallone is really involved. Like, he writes a lot of it still, and you know, because he's the man. And yeah, it's just one of those things that it's a great character driven mafia show. The episodes are only a half hour. It's 10 episodes, but you know, they bring his, like, he brings his whole family into it. Like, it's really, really good. Plus, if you like Sylvester Stallone, this is a great role for a 70-something-year-old Sylvester Stallone to be playing, because he looks so good. You don't think he's 70. And so when he does some of the action stuff, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But I mean, really, like when Dana Delaney in the first season like hooks up with him and then like finds out he's 70, and she's like, I thought you were like 54. she like freaks out, and she's like, you're a grandpa. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's really well done. Garrett Hedlund is great. You know, we didn't get Sam Flynn back for Tron, but you can get your Garrett Hedlund fix. And he does a lot of things in this show too. Like he sings, he plays guitar. He just shows off the five tool athlete that he is. So yeah, what do you got?
Few was it for episode 500 when we were talking about nostalgia.
Yeah.
One of the things that was mentioned multiple times is this show, and that's Cobra Kai. Now, this was the Cobra Kai season 6 was broken up into 3 parts. I think it was like September of 24, November of 24, and then February of 25.
Right.
This show, I don't know how many times we've said it, this show shouldn't work. It does work. This ending was chef's kiss as endings go. I mean, it did all the things that I wanted. Again, going back to Stranger Things, I wanted Stranger Things to do, which Stranger Things did it, but it was messy getting there. There was nothing messy getting there about the way Cobra Kai, ended. I tell people the same thing over and over again. This show, like if you think about it, it shouldn't work. It's what you would call fan service, but in the most positive sense of the word, not as passively aggressively talking about it or a backhanded compliment. The fan service is top notch. You knew these creators loved this show. The characters, the character growth you saw, especially with Johnny, our boy Johnny Lawrence. I love the show. I mean, heartfelt ending. Him and Kreese finally had a talk that they needed to have. And
they hugged it out. They cried like men. It was great.
Yeah, great show. Great ending. Plus, I look forward to this year sometime going back and watching it all over again.
Yeah. Plus, it coronated the one true Karate Kid. Miguel Diaz.
Robbie?
No, Robbie was just a pretender to the throne. No, she's a potato. No, I loved Cobra Kai. I the only reason I didn't put it on my list is because it was like, by the time it ended, it was like, okay, this should have already ended. Like, Netflix got greedy and spread it out too much. It should have all ended in 2024. But that being said, it was a fantastic series finale. Or final season even. It was a fantastic final season. You got Britt Baker in there. It was great. All right. My next one. So my next 3 are all kind of surprises that I liked them as much as I did. So this is the Apple TV kind of dramedy Stick, starring Owen Wilson and Mark Maron. Owen Wilson is a down on his luck former golfer who is kind of known for like just going for it. Very like 10. He's a very 10 Cup-esque character, very quixotic. And so he is a golf pro now, and he's always like hustling and like doing his thing, and just kind of like I feel like Owen Wilson is only like I feel like Stick, that's the character's nickname. I feel like Stick is only like 4% of the character, and the rest of it's Owen Wilson, which is not a problem. I don't have any issues with that. But he is so good at golf. He hears the swing that this kid has, and this Hispanic kid, and he convinces his mom by paying her $100,000 to take him on the golf tour to try and get him into their version of the U.S. Open in the show. It was really good. Timothy Olyphant is also in this show as one of the bad guys. Or, well, not, but like, he's an antagonist. I don't think he's like truly bad, but he was great. And they go around and it's about the kid trying to do good enough to score, to getting enough score to get into, to be able to qualify for this Pro-Am. And, there's a scene where his dad, who he's estranged from, shows up, who like his dad was abusive. You know, he's got the kid has a love interest. Mark Maron and the kid's mom have a thing going on. It was just really, Judy Greer is Owen Wilson's ex-wife, and you know, he relies way too much on her, and I don't know. It was really, really good. It's a cute show. It's coming back for a second season. It's very wholesome, and there's not enough of that. But I was surprised by how much I really, really enjoyed this show, and I've actually watched the season twice.
Wholesome, similar in a way like Ted Lasso.
Yeah, like a little bit less,
Not the same, but
like less corny wholesome, more just kind of like, I want to see you succeed and be a mentor wholesome, like kind of thing. Like you know, all these people are
less corny wholesome.
Yeah, like these people
bite your tongue.
These people are broken in some way, and they find their way. They find themselves together. Anyway, you're up.
Let's just skim over this one because you talked about it before, and it's criminal, like you said, that it's not getting a second season, and that's Dexter Original Sin. Yeah, again, you never know with these shows how they're going to turn out when they go with different characters, because we're talking about the past here. And the casting, just the way they cast these characters to play Dexter and Deb and and all the other characters, LaGuerta, it was phenomenal. And watching Dexter make his way to becoming the Dexter we knew from the original series, Original Sin was fantastic. I was really looking forward to a season 2,
especially because they were going to introduce Dokes.
That's not the card.
Dokes was going to be in season 2. I don't know. It's
because we got a clip of him.
Yep.
I was very disappointed to hear
it's a huge miss on Paramount's behalf, or Showtime, as the case may be.
It's unfortunate.
No, I agree. I didn't talk a ton about it because I knew it was on your list, but just like fantastic casting. Even the girl they cast as Deb, you wanted to punch her as much as you wanted to punch Jennifer Carpenter.
Yes.
And I'm not saying punch Jennifer Carpenter. I mean punch Deb, but
the character.
It's just like Deb. Like if there's a wrong decision to make, you know who makes it? Deb. Deb does.
Deb.
Anyway.
Deb Morgan.
Yes, Deborah Morgan. All right, so my next one, we disagree. I feel like we disagree on this show more than most shows. Is Gen V, season 2. I thoroughly enjoyed this season. I thought Marie's character took a bunch of huge steps forward. I love the idea that there's 2 god tier soups. Even though I'm not quite sure Marie is the same level of god tier as Homelander, but I liked a lot of what they did with the show. I like how they honored Andre, especially because the actor who played him died, and they were very respectful. And they since they didn't recast, they let him go out, or had him go out a hero. His dad had a great story arc. The whole Godolkin coming back or still being alive thing, using the dude as a meat puppet to run his errands for him as a control center. I don't know. I found it really, really, really good. And I'm excited to see how the shows merge with this being season 5 right, of The Boys.
I thought it was solid. I gave it a 7, like a 7+.
Oh, okay.
So again, I obviously didn't like it as much as you did, because I did have like some of the issues especially with the Godolkin thing, which I liked the idea, but the execution of having him become in his original body and then immediately defeat it was like one of those things where it's where it's the ref tells the wrestlers okay, we got to go home now.
Yeah.
And that colored some of the stuff with Marie. I agree, because I wasn't a huge fan of Marie in season 1.
Yeah.
But season 2, I did think that she showed, like, she was there was a lot more to her than what we got in season 1.
So quickly to circle back, like Godolkin unlocked so much of her power that he became the target for her ire and all the frustrations and all the guilt and all the imposter syndrome that she had. So like I didn't look at it as he got taken care of too quickly. It's he made this monster and the monster did what he trained it to do.
No, I get that, but
So-
I don't want you to have this character that has been in the background this whole time and then that's what it is. You can't have a character, and again, that's just me. You can't have a character who's like, that's like if Thanos would have got, one shot it, like by the Hulk or something like that.
If Thor would have gone for the head, it would have been fine, but no, I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
So, yeah. So, and again, I think the show was definitely, I'm very curious to see we get when, like you said, when season 5 of The Boys comes back and, you have these characters in there. I'm very, very interested to see what we get.
Yeah. So, and I think it was a little step up from season 1, which I really like season 1. So there's no denigration on that season, but I think they did more. They had more characters to deal with this time, and I think they did a really good job of handling that. And I do like that even though there is depravity in this show and there's a guy who hides things in his butt, including people, that like it didn't go nearly as far as The Boys goes. And I really appreciate that.
So stupid.
Yeah.
That power. Like some of the, I mean, not just him, but
I know. But
yeah, anyway. So,
all right.
So next on my list, my penultimate series of my top 10 is The Recruit season 2, starring Ken Masters. Noah Centineo. He's playing Ken in the Street Fighter movie that's coming out.
That's what he's from. Okay.
I think it's this year.
So I watched the first couple episodes of the first season and I really liked it. And then I'm going to be honest, I forgot it was still on until you put it on your list.
Well, I mean, this came out, I think, in February or something.
Well, no, I mean, I didn't even know there was a season 2. So.
Oh, you forgot I told you because I mentioned it.
You did.
I think that was before you even watched it, though. Like, so
you were the reason I watched.
Okay.
The first season.
So
excuse me, that I watched the first season because you said this was coming out, and I just completely memory hold it.
Yeah, but it's the show, and again, this was only 6 episodes, where I think season 1 was either 8 or 10. I'm not sure, but I was a little disappointed. Although the story that you're told in this season, it makes sense for 6 episodes. It worked, and this is an example. This show begs the question, especially this season, like where you have this guy coming out very bright, working with the CIA, and actually seeing what goes on behind the scenes. And we didn't get it much in season 1, but in season 2 we get, okay, is he being corrupted? And he knows it and knows he can't do anything about it. And that's kind of where I come out on this season, where it's like you're watching this main character, who had all these ideals, realizing that, for the dirty work you have to do sometimes to get the job done. And I'm hoping there's a season 3. I haven't looked it up recently, but yeah, I really want a season 3. I enjoyed season 1 and I enjoyed season 2. Again, these are probably like 45-minute-ish episodes. And like I said, this is a shorter season, but I had a lot of fun with this. It's one of those shows you're even when it first came out, I was like, okay, I'll give this a try. But I mean, you never know. And for 2 seasons to be in my purview like this, and that says something. So
that's great. And I thought it was I did like, I remember when I watched it, I liked, and I just didn't get a chance to go back to it. But yeah. So, all right. My last one is the other one that would arguably be my favorite show of 2025, Dexter Resurrection. This is the other one that surprised me and came from out of nowhere, as for how good it was. So I love the Dexter series. I watched the first series all the way through. I watched oh god, what was the one? New Blood, with when they introduced the more grown up Harrison, to find out Dexter was still alive. I really liked that one. I loved Original Sin, and this one is just, it's so good. Kristen Ritter is amazing in this show. Peter Dinklage is great in this show. Dexter's past comes back to bite him and Harrison several times. And there is this amazing scene. So Peter Dinklage's character, I'm going to spoil just a little bit, but not a lot. Okay. He is a patron for these serial killers, and he hosts these dinners. And Dexter joins under false pretenses as a different serial killer, which is really cool. So, and so they don't know that, but he's walking through this vault, and there's all these like crazy, trophies that these other serial killers had, and Dexter's slides are in there. And the scene is like, it's just the primal look on Michael C. Hall's face. And it's like, God damn, I missed this. Like, it was just, like you said earlier, chef's kiss. But
I
yeah,
still need to watch this.
you do. You really do, because I really want to talk about it with you. So, but I don't want to spoil anything, or anything else. But yeah, again, it's this other one. It's so well written, so well acted. Like I said, the characters, Cam from what's it called? Modern Family. Eric Firestone, I think that's his name. Eric Stone Street. Eric Stone Street he's a great serial killer. David Dovachikich, or whatever the fuck his name is, the Russian from Ant-Man, and the guy in the Joker's crew and The Dark Knight, and
M.
Polka
Bison.
Dot Man, and yeah, he's in Bison now. He's really, his character is really cool. I'm not gonna say anything else. But yeah, just like, I don't know, I liked. So I think this year's movie, like last year, like it was TV. TV was like so much better than movies, and I don't feel like TV took a step back or anything. I think it just stayed pretty solid, which is a good thing. But like movies were so much better this year than previous years. And the other thing I found, like, because like we did the best of 25. Like our rule is like it had to have come out in the year. But like I rewatched Weeds this year. I'm rewatching Weeds. I rewatched Billions. Like I rewatched a bunch of shows. I'm still making my way through Suits slowly. I'm still kind of every once in a while checking out an episode. But but yeah, there was just a lot of like really good stuff, and like we have a lot of really good stuff to look back on if you missed it, and all of that. So yeah,
I do have one more though.
Yeah. Oh no, I know you do. I'm not closing out. I'm finishing. I'm closing out my 2025 TV season. So, but no, it's like, so these shows like all like were so for me, like just a great year of TV. Even my honorable mentions like add to that as well. And there's things that I didn't put on here that I liked. Obviously Cobra Kai wasn't on mine, but there was some really good stuff, and even like animated stuff too that was good. So with that, Darryl, I close out my 2025 TV season.
Yeah, and I'll close mine out with, speaking of animated, is Invincible season 3. Again, huge fan of the original material. Not as much of a fan as with the series, especially season 1. season 2 and now season 3 have gotten so much better from a storytelling and character and narrative perspective. The animation can be a little dodgy at times, which is sad because I could have put it up there with My Hero Academia and Solo Leveling if the animation was the top notch like this should be. But still, a really good show. You have to, weather the storm. And again, for people who haven't read the comic, you'll have an easier time falling in and for this show than people who have reread the comic multiple times, as both of us have. But again, I would still recommend it for comic fans just because, again, season 1 is a little bit rough, but seasons 2 and 3, and then the Adam Eve, TV movie, whatever you want to call it, is also phenomenal. But going to, kind of piggybacking off of what you were saying, and I said this from the beginning, I didn't have a lot of shows that I absolutely loathed, or any actually. Like even the ones that I put on my first first eliminated, there were good aspects of them, except maybe Mythic Quest, because I don't even remember much about that. It's one of those you're not even important enough to remember. But
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. But the other ones, I had issues with, obviously, but there were still good aspects of them. And like you said, the movies kind of, that 2025 was a resurrection of sorts for movies, especially the last couple of years where, we were hunting for top 10. And now I'm like, okay, is this going to be a top 10 or honorable mention? You have to make that. And TV this year, or TV in 2025, was great for me. And there's a lot of shows I have on my list that were, in that 6.3, 6.4 range. It just wasn't cutting it, but it was still something I'd probably recommend to people. And, you can't ask for much more than that. And, to what you said, about, going back and rewatching stuff, some old shows like Weeds, I want to do that. I need to go finish up shows like Mrs. Maisel, or what was that show? The Man in the High Castle. And there's a lot of good TV out there, especially with the copious amounts of streaming services that we have. And 2025 was an excellent year. 2026 with some of this stuff, and we'll talk about this in a later episode. What we're some of the stuff we're anticipating. 2026 is and again, there's always going to be a show that surprises you, just like a movie. There's going to be shows where at the end of maybe in October or November we'll see it's like, I didn't know what this was. It was kind of like the Bondsman that came out of nowhere.
Marty
Didn't know
Supreme.
anything about it.
Marty Supreme came out of nowhere, and I loved it. The Bondsman. The Bondsman came from. Dude, Kevin Bacon did a series. It's like Brimstone. You should watch it. And then the next thing I know, I've watched the whole series.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's funny because when I told you that, I just didn't know about it. I just turned on Amazon. I'm like, what is this show?
What's funny, too, is I had mentioned it to David on a phone call like a couple weeks after we'd watched it and reviewed it. And he goes, oh, yeah, that was great. I watched it because he works for Amazon. And I was like, you need to tell me about this stuff.
Like, how did you forget about that?
How did you forget to tell me about that? Anyway, but yeah, so it's I think 2025 was a great entertainment year for TV and movies. So
yes, agreed.
But yeah, all right. Well, if you don't have anything else to add on that note, thank you all
you had
for
a
listening.
question.
Oh, that's for off air. It's off air.
Oh, okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
So thank you all for listening. Happy New Year. Looking forward to 2026 with new TV, new movies, new entertainment. Darryl, last words.
Be infamous.
The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati. You can find new episodes every Sunday on Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcast, our website, or anywhere podcasts are downloaded. This show is hosted by Darryl Jasper and me, Brian Tudor. To find more information about the show, visit us at infamouspodcast.com and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Infamous Podcast to keep up with the show. We also have a Patreon page, patreon.com/infamouspodcast. We have some great rewards for our patrons and are looking for help to grow the show to bring you more of the content you want to hear. Music for this podcast is provided by Michael Henry from meetmichaelhenry.com. So, whenever you're listening to us, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.